All right, guys, make a quick crypto video here. Interesting couple days. We had that big pump back to 115 yesterday. Trump comes out with China came out with some tweet or whatever saying that they're going to be fighting Trump, and there's some negativity coming out of this whole China trade situation with tariffs. That came out last night. Bitcoin dumped overnight back down to like 110. Dow was down 600 points at the start. Now all of a sudden, Dow is now positive. I guess this whole inflation or this whole tariff thing on China, that's been rectified again. It kind of goes like back and forth. It says investors trying to shrug off the latest U.S.-China trade thing. It's hard to believe like this whole thing even matters, this whole tariff in China. I mean, this has been going on now for the last year. Who cares? We know what Trump's main goal is. It's a negotiation tactics. Now you have stocks back coming up. You also have Fed, Powell, Jerome Powell came out, and he's talking about doing some tightening. Tightenings could end soon, but he's offered no guidance on rates. So he's kind of hinting that they're going to be doing a lot more cuts towards the end of the year. Let's see here. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said that the central bank is nearing a point where it will stop reducing the size of its bond holdings, but gave no long-run indication where interest rates are heading. Though balance sheet questions are in the weeds for monetary policy, they matter to financial makers. Blah, 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 blah. So it looks like we're probably going to get a bunch of rate cuts, which we already knew. I saw that Jamie Dimon, his company, had some good numbers, but he also keeps talking about how there might be a recession. We already know that. We already know the economy is not great. We already know we're at the tipping point. Hopefully we have another 3 or 4 months of bull market, maybe going into 2026 for stocks, and then everything's going to dump into oblivion. All right, let's talk about crypto. So the one thing I follow on crypto, even more so than anything, I'm not a charts guy. I can't do TA for shit. I'm basically all emotions. I follow sentiment. That's been my whole life. I see the way other people are feeling, and I kind of make my decisions off that. If you were to look on Twitter yesterday, I'd say 95% of all YouTubers, all the main YouTubers and Twitter people and social media people that people follow on crypto were pretty much 100% bullish. Okay, we're recovering. We're going to $200,000 Bitcoin. It's all going to happen in November, blah, blah, blah. Now, after this dump yesterday, I'm seeing big crypto people who we all know, like Crypto Jeb. I was listening to his show this morning. He's talking about how we're probably going to go down to like 90,000 and things are going to be bearish. Crypto Lark, they're all getting bearish. Really, a lot of these guys, there's a lot more that I listen to as well. They're all kind of talking about how we're probably not going to get an alt season now. We're probably going to go down to like a $80,000 or $90,000 Bitcoin. Then maybe we'll recover sometime in the summer. To me, for one, that's definitely a possibility. I've always told you guys, like, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow crypto goes to zero. Quantum computer got leaked from Google and cryptocurrencies go to zero. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But looking at a sentiment level, I'm noticing more and more of your big YouTubers starting to capitulate, or at the very minimum, they're not as bullish as they were. And this all happened within the last 24 hours. I woke up this morning, Bitcoin was back down to 110. Pretty big dump. And I'll tell you, it does suck. I mean, it hurts. You feel it. You feel it in your gut when Bitcoin goes down that low after we just recovered. But then you look up why, and it's the whole tariff thing again in China. And it's like, okay, like we've seen this before. Like, what is going on? So I think we need it. I think we need a lot of these YouTubers, big people that people follow. Obviously, if a big YouTuber or whoever, like Crypto Jeb or Ivan on Tech. Ivan on Tech is a guy I was listening to this morning. He's 100% like bearish now. Bull market over. He's talking about shorting in the bear market. This is a guy who was 80% bullish this time last week. Now he's completely bearish. Like, it's over. Like, yeah, we might come back, but like he's talking about, don't worry, guys, we're going to shorten the bear market and blah, blah, blah. He could be right. He could absolutely be right. 100%. We only have a couple more months, and if we don't get our price levels, I think this bull market's over, and we're going to have to wait. Hopefully not a couple years. Maybe it'll only be till summer or whatever, but we're going to have to wait. But you're seeing the change right now, and unfortunately, people don't like to hear it. You have to have people turn negative. You have to have your big people, your big YouTubers, your big social media people, your friends, your cab driver, the Uber driver, they need to basically turn bearish for Bitcoin to turn around. And I think that's a positive sign. Maybe it means October is not going to be all that great and everything's going to happen in November. Obviously, if we don't get some crazy price levels by December, we're probably not going to get an alt season this year. And we're going to have to wait. But seeing a lot of these YouTubers turn, and seeing them turn when we really haven't had an alt season yet, just makes me more bullish. Okay, so let's see what Benjamin Cohen's talking about. This kind of made sense. I saw this tweet. To those that keep calling for alt season, in order for alt season to happen, Ethereum needs to go back to its all-time high. For Ethereum to go back to 5,000 and hold its support, it means that Bitcoin needs to also go to all-time highs. This process of Bitcoin going to all-time high would make Bitcoin dominance go higher, just like it has all cycle. So the only way to get an alt season is for Bitcoin to first go up and for Bitcoin to make all-time highs. I personally don't agree with that. I don't think Bitcoin needs to go back to $126,000 for Ethereum to go back to $5,000. I mean, I really don't. I mean, if liquidity gets sucked out of Bitcoin and people get bullish on alts, I mean, technically, Ethereum can go to $5,000 tomorrow. And Bitcoin could be at 115 or 120. It doesn't have to go to all-time high. But obviously, best case scenario, Bitcoin goes to all-time high, goes to like 130, 140, and then we go into alt season. But, you know, Benjamin Cowen is a guy who has been right with a lot of things this cycle. But last cycle, he was wrong about everything. He was talking about $250,000 Bitcoin. He was all into these alts. It was a disaster. He was talking about like a $10,000 Ethereum. He's right now, but I think with Benjamin Cowen, it could actually turn out to be something that happened last cycle, where he's right until he's not right, and when he's wrong, it's really wrong. Remember, Benjamin Cowen pretty much had to go into hiding last bull market because he was so wrong. You didn't hear from him for like a year, and then he came back. So, you know, and that's not any knock on him. Like, you know, like everybody's wrong. I'm wrong. He's wrong. Everybody's wrong. You just can't get too cocky about it. But either way, he's a big-time YouTuber, and he thinks that Bitcoin's going to make it to the next high, and then Ethereum's going to go to 5,000. So obviously, he's still bullish, at least on Bitcoin and altcoins. So that's interesting to see. But then you have the negative articles. Bitcoin threatens 107K. Next, as yearly opens becomes Bitcoin's price floor. So you're starting to see the big articles talking about 107. I saw another article talking about 95. This morning. So you're starting to see the articles. BlackRock developing tokenized tech amid Bitcoin Ethereum ETF success. So no matter what happens in this bearish time we're in right now, where everything's dumping, all these big funds, BlackRock, they're buying Bitcoin and they're trying to utilize the blockchain. So that's positive. Solana, XRP, and Cardano among top contenders awaiting for SEC ETF approval. Right now, we're in the government shutdown. Most people think this government shutdown is probably going to end at some point this week, maybe next week. At that point, the SEC should be coming back in. Hopefully, a couple weeks after that, hopefully not too long after that, we start to see some of these ETF approvals. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has announced a key regulatory change enabling faster approval for crypto ETFs on major exchanges. Okay, that's good news. Obviously, I think this article came out right before the government shutdown, so nothing's going to happen until, obviously, the government comes back. But we do have a lot of these ETFs on the horizon. All right. So, guys, that's pretty much it as far as news. I mean, you know, look, all I can see right now, I'm open to anything. We could be going into a bear market. Maybe it's going to suck until summer. Hey, maybe it's going to be a multi-year bear market. There are a lot of people calling for that. But right now, I see a Bitcoin that dumped down to 110 last night. Ethereum went under 4,000. Now Ethereum's back up to 4,100. So, and a lot of these altcoins are coming up as well. And you're also seeing right now a lot of these Bitcoin moves are 100% based off the stock market. If the stock market dumps off a Trump tweet, so does Bitcoin. So I think the most important thing for us is we need to make sure that the stock market holds up and doesn't go into a multi-year, well, usually a bear market for a stock market is like 8 months. So we need to hope that the stock market doesn't go bearish. And as of right now, the stock market's coming back. I was listening to CNBC this morning. They're all pretty much bullish as usual. They're still pumping it. They're pumping the AI stocks, and everything's like fine and dandy. And you saw that Jamie Dimon, he had his company is doing very well. There was another company that was doing well as well, if that makes any sense. I forget what company. It was some other big tech company that was doing well. A lot of these AI stocks are coming back. What's going on with Gavin? Oh. All right, anyway. So you're seeing the stock, as long as the stock market holds, at least somewhat, for the next month or two, I think that's going to really help Bitcoin and altcoins' chances for skyrocketing. Obviously, if the stock market dumps and we're getting all the news that we're going into a stock market recession, bear market, obviously Bitcoin's going to follow. So as of right now, I think the first thing we should be doing every morning is look at the stock market. Is the stock market doing well? Then Bitcoin's probably going to do well. Right now, Bitcoin is following to a T the stock market. What do I think is going to happen? I really haven't changed my overall plan. I'm open to anything, guys. I really am. I'm not going to be cocky about this. There's not going to be a lot of bragging here. You know, it's like a flip of the coin. I'm still following the cycles. Cycles state that in November we should be going into alt season, and we should have some crazy price action going into the end of the year. If it's this time next month and we're at a $90,000 Bitcoin and a 35-cent Cardano, we ain't getting no alt season, and we're not getting no alt season by the end of the year. Now, does that mean we're going into a multi-year bear market? I don't know, because that would kind of mean the cycles are kind of all fucked up. So. And with all these funds now in Bitcoin, we could get like a 6-month bearish time and then come back in the summer. Maybe we'll go bearish for a year. Maybe we'll go bearish for 3 months. But my original prediction of having an alt season by the end of the year probably won't happen. Worst case scenario, we had a shitty alt season. Only certain altcoins ran. And we all know which altcoins they were. We're going to have to be smarter next cycle. And, in 2 years, when these altcoins start pumping again, we'll have to make sure we get out a lot faster. Like, I can tell you right now, if Cardano doesn't even hit $1, and, we go into a year of bear market where Cardano is at 40 cents for a year, and then we get a spike up of Cardano to $1 or $1.20, I'm definitely selling it. So I'm not going to make the same mistakes. But all those things are on the table, but I think we're pretty much on that path to have a really good October, November. I really do, as long as the stock market holds up. And like I said, I'm overall positive to see that a lot of these YouTubers, and I think a lot of these YouTubers, like Crypto Lark and Jeb and all these guys, I think a lot of these guys, and Ivan on Tech, I think they got annihilated in this big dump we had last Friday, and I think you can see it in their eyes that they're just like they're not happy. So in my mind, and they're guys, they're people I never respected anyway. So to see them unhappy and going bearish, that kind of makes me a little bit more confident that we're probably gonna have some fake out where maybe Bitcoin will drop down to 108, 109, and then basically skyrocket from there. Or maybe the bottom is right now. We're coming back up to 115, and that's the bottom. I really don't know. But like I said, I'm overall bullish going into the next month. If it doesn't happen, then we're just gonna have to hold our coins and put our tail between our legs, and hopefully we get some pump going into spring, going into summer. And then, like I said, worst case scenario, we have to wait to the next bull market, which would suck. I did get out of my Cardano trade yesterday at 70 cents, so I made like $1,000 on that. So at least I did that. And I did make a lot of money trading over the last 6 months. So obviously nothing compared to what I would have made if Cardano goes to $2. So I'm still holding out for that. But just everybody's bearish right now. Like, the sentiment has changed, and a lot of times when that happens, we go bullish. So let's see what happens, guys. Like and subscribe. Talk to you later.